let's go over shape. Shape and form are about the same thing. It's pretty much the outline in three-dimensional form of an object or your subject. There are two different types of forms, such as organic forms, which are naturally bumpy, curvy, things that you would find in nature, and inorganic forms, which are about man-made, manufactured, which are normally extremely smooth, extremely polished, something that cannot be formed inside of nature. Let's take a closer look at these objects. Here we have an organic form. As you can see, it has bumpy, smooth ridges, and it was formed in nature. I don't know what it is, but it was definitely a natural object. This, on the other hand, is a man-made object formed by me. As you can see, it has a smooth, polished surface. It's not something that was formed in nature, and that it also has artificial coloring and like. These are both different types of forms.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Shape is a closed line. Shapes can be geometric like squares and circles, or organic like freeform or natural shapes. Shapes are flat and can express length and width. Okay.
Now let's look at space. Space consists of two things, negative and positive space. Here's an example of a drawing utilizing negative space rather than positive space. As you can see here, this would have been a guitar and an easel, but those are not the main focal points. What is the focal point is the background, which is the negative space. Your subject matters typically are your positive space, while your negative space tends to be the room around it or the environment that it's in. People wouldn't think so, but your negative space is actually extremely important to how to reflect your positive space. Let's take a closer look. As you can see, the negative space is all filled in, but the positive space with some defining lines, but not a lot of detail in it. This is normally an exercise piece where you can learn to utilize your negative space rather than your positive space.
Yes.
A line is a mark with greater length than width. Lines can be horizontal, vertical, or diagonal, straight or curved, thick or thin.
Now let's take a look at color. As you can see, this is a color painting. The artist here used many different forms of color, different shades, different tints, and different hues in order to make a full compositional piece. Now, can you see any complementary colors? What about analogous colors? What about triadic colors? There are many different types and combinations of colors to get a different effect. Let's take a little bit closer look at this painting. No. See how there are blues, a little bit of red, a little bit of yellow? Those would be triadic colors. So this artist used a little bit of a triadic color scheme as well as an analogous color scheme. See how the skin has some forms of red and brown both in it? That also reflects off of the drawers over there that have reds and browns and dark colors in it, as well as yellows. Colors reflect off of each other, so you can see all different colors just bouncing around the entire painting. Can you point out any other kind of color combinations that would count as complementary, analogous, or triadic? Let's take a look at a piece that has concrete texture. Concrete texture is normally used by sculptors and ceramicists, maybe fibers artists, such as a fiber piece right here, in order to create a view of texture. This piece is fairly large, so it's not all on the screen. And now if I'll just back up and turn it sideways, you get an idea for the amount of depth this piece has. It's not hanging properly, or else it looks much more beautiful, but let's take a look at the texture a little closer. As you can see, this is made of yarn. There are different types of yarn, such as and it's mostly made of thick fuzzy yarn or just thick silky yarn. As you can see, some of the yarn is fuzzy, some of it's silky, and it creates a different kind of effect. As you can see, this is a fuzzy yarn. It's actually not just a single piece of yarn, it's multiple pieces. And then you can see also the other strands, which are the light blue, can be fuzzy. The other one has a silky sheen to it. So how do you think this piece would feel? You know, think about what kind of, if you were to touch this piece, what different textures would you feel? Would one be silkier? Would it be smooth? Would they be fuzzy? Think about all the different kind of textures that you can come up with and feel with one of these pieces. You can recreate that visually or do it physically.